jack on the left side, and when they hook up, it's putting a lot of torque through the drivetrain. You can break rear gears, drive shafts, as well as axles.
Well, it's the wildest collection of talent ever assembled at trackside. Singers, dancers, comedians, maybe even a slice of peasy, a whole lot more, and it'll grab America by the muffler. Are you the talent that NASCAR Nation is looking for? It's Fast Track to Fame coming soon. Check it out on Speed. Let's check things out upstairs and rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike as Scott Speed is coming in right now. Mike.
Thanks, Chris. You heard a big cheer from the crowd, and that was because they've given the 1-to-go sign. They're going to get this race restarted, so no reason for Scott Speed to stay out. Mother Nature's not going to win this round. There is quite a storm just to the west of the Speedway. It may pass us to the north, though. Krista?
Scott Speed was doing everything he could. He said he lost fuel pressure, then started shaking the car, said, okay, fuel pressure's back, but had to come in. They were almost completely dry.
Bobby Labonte also stops, as does Travis Kvapil and Kevin Conway.
And there were a lot of caution laps there, but Jimmy Elliott Scott Speed ran 56 laps on fuel.
Wow. Robbie Gordon takes the wave around and will be ready for the restart this time. Jeff Burton leading Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer, Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Mark Martin, the defending race winner Matt Kenseth, then Tony Stewart and Greg Biffle.
In situations like that, Larry, it always makes me question the number of laps somebody can run. Somebody inevitably will mess that up.
NASCAR has safety observers stationed all around the racetrack, and the report is there is some rain coming down, so they have waved off the restart for the moment.
It's a big racetrack. You can have rain over in the third turn and not know it, and you bail off an air at over 200 miles an hour. Not a good thing.
Now, since everybody had just made pit stops under green, a lot of drivers took the wave around. One of those was Paul Menard, along with Elliott Sadler, David Reagan, Mike Bliss, Sam Hornish, and David Gilliland all took the wave around.
You know, I look at Kim Burton sitting on that pit box. Kind of reminds me of a lady that sat on. They didn't have pit boxes that often, but Stevie Waltrip, is there a lap you raced, unless she was home having Jessica or Sarah, that she wasn't on that pit box or in those pits when you were racing there?
And she looked exactly like Kim does. Intense. Stevie had a job. She calculated the mileage on the car. I mean, that was her job.
Did a pretty good job at 89 500.
She did. She won us a lot of races.
50 laps to go. Let's go back down to the Hollywood Hotel. Chris?
Yeah, Mike, just for fans watching, they can vote for the fastest pit crew texture selection to 2258, delivered by AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. And last week, Montoya, the 42 crew, their total pit time for the entire race was least of any. So, Jeff, how about ranking the crews today?
Well, so far, it's been Jimmie Johnson's guys have been tough all day long. 33 of Clint Boyer. Again, they've been solid off the pit road, currently third. And also Mark Martin. He's a little bit far back after this round of pit stops, but they've been good all day long.
All right, let's go back upstairs.
The weather is coming. We're getting ready to go back to green. Now, that's the picture outside turn number 3. Low clouds in the foothills, rain in those clouds. But as you look across the back straightaway, it's a little clearer. There is sun behind those clouds way to the west, so our hope is that shower system moves by to the north of Fontana and the racetrack.
Just follow along the edge of those mountains. Just stay right over there, and
we'll be just fine.
We'll be happy.
With these caution laps, Larry, the teams that stopped at lap 194, could they make it?
Well, I would say now, yes. Okay. Yes, I definitely think we're getting there to where there's some guys that's the game they'll get on, but you've got to get on it now. You can't wait to 20 to go and say, oh, by the way, save me some fuel. All
right, the first of those cars is Denny Hamlin in 13th. The 12 cars ahead of them have run more laps on their fuel and tires. Jeff Burton chooses the outside lane. He and Kyle Busch bring them down for the restart. 50 to go.
Well, there will be some urgency in all these guys now, though. They know the weather's looming. They'll go after it now. This will be like a shootout here.
A lot of sliding around and contact.
No, they're going around. Somebody's going around. No,
he straightened it up somehow, some way. But look at this, 6 wide down the back straightaway. I think they know weather is out there.
Oh, yeah, I think Denny Hamlin, is that Hamlin out there? Did he get torn up in that?
We'll show it in a moment. It's Burton and Kyle Busch break away from the field with Boyer in third.
Hamlin up on the outside in that black car there. I believe Hamlin has a tire going down. He tried to make it 3 wide, couldn't get through there. Guarantee the splitter on that 99 cut the left rear tire down. There he is.
Left rear is flat. Around he goes, and he's now saved it and trying to bring it to pit road.
We stay green, and a lot of damage.
Left rear is flat.
Mike, there's no question. You just had asked me. That would have been one of the cars I think they would have tried to make it to the end.
Yeah, and you remember last year here, had a shot at winning this race last year. Spun the tires on the restart and got in trouble.
Another of those cars who could make it is the 78 of Regan Smith. The New York State driver has worked his way well up into the top 10. He is 7th in the 78.
And he's really not running that bad. He's running right there behind Jimmie Johnson and hanging on pretty darn good. The car looks great. Regan Smith.
He's the black car right behind Jimmie Johnson.
You put him up there in the top 10, you give him something to race now.
He's a pretty good little wheel man, I'm telling you.
They run the Hendrick engine package in that car.
One Rookie of the Year, his first season out.
He's going to get up in there and mix it up with the boys, looks like.
I'll tell you who's mixing it up. It's taken him over 100 laps to recover from that pit road speeding penalty, but Kevin Harvick in that 29 car goes by Jimmie Johnson in the 48.
I believe the 29 has the best race car at this point anyway.
But of those top 10, the 2 with the most fuel are Regan Smith and Kurt Busch. If this goes all the way to the checker, they likely will not have to stop. Everybody else? Good question.
You got Jeff Burton sitting out there leading, and not too far back here, in 4th place. You got Mark Martin. Those two guys, they just amaze me how they race. They race so conservatively, but when it's time to go, you always see them at the front of the field.
Jeff Burton has scored more points than any other Sprint Cup driver over the last 5 races, dipping back into 2009.
Children's cars, Larry, what are they running there? First, second, and 5th.
There they are, right there.
And this time last year, we were only 2 races in. We were saying, what's wrong with those children's cars? Great turnaround.
Last year was a tough year for Richard Childress Racing as Jimmie Johnson almost lost it in turn 4. He almost got into the side of Kevin Harvick and nearly threw the chance for both of them to win right out the window. What a save from above. Watch the 48.
You get that, just get that big run off that corner, and you need the whole racetrack when you try to turn to stay off the car on the outside of you. Back end jumps out.
Quite a job staying off of Harvick.
Yeah, plus a little arrow, a little air coming off the other car will upset your car too.
Battle for 4th place here. Kyle Busch in the 18, Kevin Harvick in the 29 car. Kyle gets the good run on the high side.
I said Harvick had the best car, and I was convinced he did until the last couple of laps, and all of a sudden he's gone high on the racetrack where he'd been pretty good around the bottom. Gets that big run off it too. Let's see if he drives back. When his car was good, he was running high in 1 and 2 and on the apron in 3 and 4. See, he's moved up off of that line. I'm not sure what's something going on with the car, not like it was earlier.
Our pole sitter, Jamie McMurray, back in 12th place.
Ooh. Oh, that's not going to work, boys.
No.
You're running out of racetrack.
Now, David Rudiman is another one of those that pitted at lap 194, trying to stretch it to the finish.
But I think what has happened to this one car, he was real loose. And this racetrack has really cooled down because it got real cloudy and overcast, and that probably helped his race car a lot like it did at Daytona last week.
I'm just going to say this. He didn't run that great all day long at Daytona until the end. When the end came around, where did he come from?
He was there.
I'm not believing this weather. You can't see 1 mile past the backstretch for the north. That's where that storm system has gone. And here at the racetrack, the sun's out bright and shining.
Can't tell me these cars don't create a vortex. Just
Vortex
can't tell
theory.
me that.
I'm with you. Second place, Mark Martin ahead of Clint Boyer. Robbie